parents had money to pay for my sister's wedding but told me I had to take out loans for my heart surgery that could save my life. Then they showed up asking me to help them because they have nowhere to go. My name is Ferdinand. I'm 28 now and I've lived most of my life with a faulty heart. Literally. Born with a congenital heart defect, I grew up under constant medical surveillance. I was the kid who couldn't play rough sports, couldn't overexert, and had to carry pills around even at recess. My childhood wasn't devoid of love, but it was always heavy with worry, and unfortunately not for me. My parents were far more concerned about how my condition would inconvenience them than how it was affecting me. Meanwhile, my older sister Clarissa was their shining star. She could do no wrong. She was pretty social, academically gifted, and spoiled beyond belief. Family vacations revolved around her schedule. Celebrations were always tailored to her preferences. And when she got a car at 17 fully paid for, I didn't even get a ride in it. They always said she earned it, while I was told to focus on being responsible with my health. I tolerated it. I buried it deep and kept my focus on school tech and building a quiet life for myself. I won a scholarship, got into a solid IT job, and moved out at 23. I was proud to be independent. I didn't need much from them until I did. 3 years ago, during a routine checkup, doctors delivered a blow I had feared my whole life. My heart wasn't holding out anymore. I needed surgery, open heart surgery, and it wasn't optional. Without it, I had less than 2 years, maybe even less. It was one of those moments where the world doesn't crash down in a dramatic roar. It just stops, like someone hit mute on your existence. I called my parents. I was scared, ashamed even. I didn't want to ask them for anything, but I didn't have a choice. The surgery, even with my insurance, was gonna bury me financially. So I sat in that sterile hospital room, voice shaking, and told them everything. They came the next day, quiet and seemingly supportive, until the topic of money came up. My father cleared his throat. "Ferdinand, we're proud of how far you've come on your own, and we just can't swing this right now." I blinked. "But you just paid for Clarissa's wedding. You flew 50 people to Italy. That had to be 6 figures." Dad shrugged. "That was a once-in-a-lifetime event. We promised her that for years." My mother chimed in. "She's starting her life, honey. You're strong. You've always figured things out." It was like being kicked while already bleeding out. They left shortly after, promising to pray for me, and I figured it out. I emptied my savings, maxed out my credit cards, took out loans at interest rates that could break a person, and watched his friends, not family, stepped up. A coworker I barely knew started a GoFundMe. A neighbor helped drive me to follow-ups. Meanwhile, Clarissa posted wedding photos with captions like "Best week of my life," #Amelfi dreams. I survived the surgery barely. Recovery was hell. I couldn't work for almost 6 months. I nearly lost my apartment, lost 30 pounds, and had to battle through both physical and emotional scars. My parents, not a single visit, not a single call, not even a card. Clarissa sent a 1-line text. "Hope you are okay. Let's catch up sometime." That was the moment something inside me died. I eventually rebuilt. Slowly, painfully got back to work, downsized to a cheaper city, and bought a modest little house out in a quiet area. My credit still sucks from the loans, but I'm alive. I made it without them. Then 2 weeks ago, the unthinkable happened. I opened my door to find my parents looking exhausted, holding 2 suitcases each, standing on my porch like lost travelers. Apparently, Clarissa and her husband had overextended themselves. She'd convinced my parents to co-sign on a luxury condo downtown. Her husband's startup failed. They stopped making payments, and the bank went after everyone. My parents' home got repossessed. Their retirement savings gone. They had no place to go. They wanted to stay with me. "Just for a little while," my mother said, her voice cracking. "We know we haven't been there for you, but we're family." I stared at them, dumbfounded. The people who let me drown financially when I was literally dying now stood here asking for shelter. Not because they cared about me, but because they had no other option. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I smiled. Opened the door and let them in. I made them tea. I asked them how the drive was. They visibly relaxed. Then I said, "I'm really sorry, but you can't stay here." My mother looked stunned. "What?" "I don't have a guest room anymore. Converted it into an office, and a friend's crashing on the couch for the next few months going through chemo." I met his eyes and you let me take out $50,000 in loans instead of lifting a finger. So I guess we're even. My mother began crying. My dad's jaw tightened. He said, so that's it. After everything we did for you, I stood up. What you did was abandon me when I needed you most. And what I'm doing is setting boundaries. You'll have to figure it out. Like I did. I walked them to the door. Closed it behind them. They sat in their car for a long time before pulling away. I watched them go and didn't feel anything. Until a voicemail came through later that night. Clarissa, you're a disgrace, Ferd. They're your parents. They made sacrifices for you your whole life and now you're throwing them out like trash. You're pathetic. I didn't respond. I blocked the number, and yet as much as I try to tell myself I was justified, part of me keeps asking. Am I truly protecting myself or just becoming as cold as they were to me? I didn't hear from them for almost a week after I shut the door in their faces. No calls, no messages, just silence. It was strange. I thought I'd feel guilt, maybe shame, but all I felt was peace. I could finally breathe in my own house without their ghosts lurking in every corner of my mind. For once I didn't feel like the kid they always shoved into the background. That peace lasted 5 days. On the 6th I got a voicemail from a number I didn't recognize. A man's voice, calm but serious. Hello, Ferdinand. This is Pastor Gleason from Trinity Lutheran. Your parents have been staying in our church shelter. Your mother gave us your number as a contact. I thought you should know. I played it twice. Then I just stood there in the middle of my kitchen clutching my phone like it was a live grenade. I hadn't even known they were religious. Now they were sleeping in a shelter. I wanted to feel indifferent. I wanted to laugh and say that's what you get. But all I felt was this uncomfortable knot in my stomach. That old familiar ache. The one I used to get as a kid when I'd beg for their attention and only get a pat on the head before they rushed off to one of Clarissa's dance recitals. I didn't call the pastor back, but the next day I drove to the church. I don't even know why. I told myself I just wanted to see. To confirm that this wasn't some twisted attempt at guilt-tripping me again. But the truth is, some tiny part of me still craved closure. Or maybe just understanding. I parked across the street and stayed in the car. The sun was setting, casting this ugly orange hue over everything. And there they were, sitting on a bench outside the church. My mom hunched over like she was bracing against a wind that wasn't there. My dad staring down at the pavement like it had all the answers. They looked small, so damn small. Not the people who once controlled every part of my life. Not the figures who told me my health was an inconvenience while they dropped $50,000 on centerpieces for a wedding. Just two tired, broken old people who bet on the wrong child and lost. I didn't get out of the car. Couldn't. I sat there watching them for 15 minutes, and the longer I stayed, the more my anger started to fade. What replaced it wasn't forgiveness, not even close. It was clarity. They weren't monsters. They were just selfish. Cowards even. And they didn't come to me out of love. They came because they were desperate. I drove away. That night Clarissa called again. I didn't pick up, but she left a voicemail. Her voice was ice. So you're really gonna let our parents live in a shelter like some stray dogs? Are you serious right now? What kind of person does that? Just let them stay with you for a little while. Damn. You think you're so righteous now? You're not better than anyone. She hung up without saying goodbye. I replayed it once, then deleted it. I could finally see it clearly. All of them only reached out when they needed something. Not when I had heart surgery. Not when I begged for help. Not when I hit rock bottom. Only now, when they had fallen through the cracks. I let 2 more days pass before I went back to the church. This time I didn't just sit in the car. I went inside and asked for Pastor Gleason. He was polite, warm, in that vaguely uncomfortable way religious people get when they're caught in the middle of something ugly. I want to give them something, I said. He looked surprised. Of course I can bring them in. No, I said quickly. Just give them this. I handed him a sealed envelope. Inside was a prepaid hotel voucher for 2 weeks, a list of social services and job agencies that might actually help them, and a short letter I wrote the night before. You chose Clarissa. You made that clear again and again. I almost died and you told me to figure it out. So I did. This is a temporary solution. It is not forgiveness. It is not reconciliation. It's just the bare minimum I can live with as a human being. After this you're on your own. Do not come back. Do not contact me again. I am not your son in the way you ever acknowledged. Ferdinand the pastor read it silently, then nodded. I understand, he said. You've done more than most would. That night I slept better than I had in years. No nightmares. No pit in my stomach. Just stillness. A week later I got a small card in the mail. Not from them. From the church. Your parents have moved on to a longer-term shelter program. They didn't say much, but we respected your request for privacy. We wish you healing, and that was it. No dramatic apology. No sudden realization from my parents that they were wrong. No fairy tale ending, but also no more begging. No more shame. No more hoping they'd be the parents I always needed. Just freedom. I'm not proud of everything I felt during this. The resentment, the coldness, the little spark of satisfaction watching them squirm. But I'm proud of one thing: I broke the cycle. I didn't let their cruelty mold me into something bitter. I didn't play the villain in their story even when they tried to make me into one. I gave them a way out, and I closed the door behind them.